Legion Tactical Cutlery.
Hold the line!
Hey everyone, how you guys doing? Grugs here, Legion Tactical Cutlery. Welcome back, troops, legionnaires, and new recruits. As always, appreciate you all checking out my channel and my videos. Today we're going to be testing out the Oerla OLK-035PK. This is an awesome looking blade. Let's put it to the test. Weapon inspection, troops. What are you all carrying today? What's your EDC today? I've got my Shanzhou PFAL. What are you carrying? Veterans, active military, a quick thank you for your service to this country. We really appreciate it. Quick specs. Once again, this is the Oerla OLK-035PK. Overall length, 8.94 inch. Blade length, 3.7 inch. With a secondary bevel of 17 degrees. Blade thickness is 4.96 millimeters. Blade material is 420 high carbon in a two-tone black stonewash. The Rockwell is 55 to 57 HRC. Handle length is 5.16 inch. Handle material is a black G10. Handle thickness is 19 millimeters. And it features a full Tang lanyard hole Kydex sheath and a tech lock. Let's check this blade out real quick. Check it out, man. That is a wicked drop point, almost a spear point. Beautiful swedge. A high saber grind. And an awesome secondary bevel. I love how high that is. It's got a generous sharpening choil with a little guard right over here. Adequate jimping, and I'm pressing real nice and hard. No slippage whatsoever. The spine over here from the swedge on down is pretty sharp, but the rest is a bit rounded off, so I'm not sure how that's going to work out. I'm going to test it out though. All right, here's the beautiful G10 scales. It's got some slight grooving over here, but it fits really nice in the hand. This would make a nice hunter. You know, you go out and skin an animal. Pretty nice. It's got a small little bird's beakish type handle over here at the end. Lanyard hole, removable scales, full Tang goodness. Just a nice little knife. Nothing too big, nothing too small, right in the mid-range. Really nice. Let's take a quick look at the sheath. Very simple. It is a taco style sheath. It does have options for rivet holes, and you could add different third-party options on here. It does come with a tech lock. All right, let's pop the knife in. It's very secure, no rattle, no noise. It ain't gonna come out anytime soon. It's a really nice package. All right, let's get started. I wanna test this blade out. I got a nice long branch over here. Let me just put this down. I got this nice long branch. I'm going to process it. I'm going to start over here, do a little bit of chopping, and then I'm going to do some batoning and feather sticks, etc. Okay, testing out this knife. I did add a lanyard. Like I had mentioned before, the handle is very, very comfortable. I do have gloves. I might try it on with the gloves later, see how it works out. But as of right now, I'm going to chop through this area right here where this branch was protruding. And I think it'll be a good test for this little knife. If you take a look at my Legion Live, you will see how sharp these knives are. All of Oerla's knives are shaven sharp. I mean, they cut paper like nothing else. So you will know that once you get one of Oerla's knives, it will be razor sharp. Have no fear. You can see it's already doing a great job. As always, I'm going to try and use every part of the blade here. I do have to use the rear part of the handle to do some chopping. I know most of you won't chop with your knives. That's okay. This is a channel that tests out knives. So this is part of my testing process, chopping. I think for such a small knife, you know, or mid-sized knife, I think this is not such a bad branch to be chopping down if need be, you know. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's chop through this area over here. Biting in, that's for sure. Looking good. Look at that nice thin piece I just shaved. All right, that's not bark, that's wood. Pretty cool. Okay, let's keep going. Using the rear part of the blade now. If you can see, I'm gonna just slow it down a little bit. Just using the rear part. Still cutting by the knot area. Now I'm using the very front part of the blade to chop this little area where the knot is. There we go. Okay, not bad for such a small blade. Look at that. Okay, still sharp after that. Let's do a little batoning. Let's process this a little bit further. I'm gonna do the batoning, and I'm gonna go start with this knot right here. There's a nice notch. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Okay, we're getting through real nice. Okay, that's a good start. Well, it's starting to break off, but let's finish it. Great. All right, I'm going to do it one more time. Just note that I am wearing gloves. I am using the rough part of the baton here because this is so smooth. So also just a note, the screws did come a little loose from that pounding. I did tighten them, so just be aware if you decide to buy this knife, just be aware that you're going to need some Loctite before you go out into the field. But again, let's do this one more time. Look at that. Look how deep that is. Okay. A little bit more abuse. Awesome. Okay, now while I have this on camera, take a look at that edge. Looking real good. Looking real good. Now, let me just grab a stick while on camera. And make a nice fine curls. Look at that. So thin. So even though we just started, we're still looking good. The 420HC that a lot of people complain about is doing just fine. This knife is rocking so far. So now let's process this wood even further. Perfect for making feather sticks. It's already splitting. For the avid hiker and hunter out there who love the outdoors, it's not a bad knife, man, at all. It's pretty light is what I'm trying to say, and definitely easy to you know, carry on your hip or on your backpack without adding too much weight. Let's keep going. All right, it's split. Okay, just cut the fibers right through. Let's do it again. Through the knot. Okay, beautiful. Let's make 4/4. Let's do it. Nice, nice. And I could process down even further, but I want to do a little bit of vertical batoning with this. I have something that I've used and cut in the days previous, so I might as well just use it. I'll use the rear part of the blade now. Great. I will use the forward part of the blade. I'll use the mid part of the blade. Got a firebox stove or favorite stove? Here you go. You got some kindling. Nice. Little bit different species of wood. I figure I'd give it a try. Why not? Okay, you can see it started. Definitely a challenging piece of wood. Okay. One more time. Kind of knotted and crazy, but it did the job, man. Just you know, just a different species of wood. Sometimes, you know, you don't have that option out there. If you find something on the floor, it did it pretty good. Let's move on. Let's try a little cross batoning with these two different types of wood. This is a bit more greener. There's the knot. I'm going to go through the knot. Okay, let's try the drier piece. Here's another knot. Let's go through the knot. Okay, so far so good. Look at that. Let's just do a few more examples, okay? Let me pick up that other piece and we'll continue. Once again, through a knot. There we go. Edge is looking good. Let's try this other drier piece of wood over here. I like it. I'm liking it. Let's make some feather sticks. Just going to process this piece a little bit further. These are one of the quarters that I had made before. And then I'll get rid of the gloves. Okay. All right, let me just dig in. I want to dig in real deep, okay? Okay, made a nice little point. Let's take off the bark. So if you're doing some kind of finesse work, some carving, it's very sharp. And just to show you, I'm just going to make a nice thin flat curl with this knife if I can. There you go. It's like paper thin. That's pretty cool. That is just real thin, okay? Now let's make a feather stick, yeah? Well, actually first let's make individual curls. Okay, look at that. Just breezing right by, man. Breezing right by, not a problem. Now let's make the finer curls for the feather stick. Take my time without the pressure of the camera. I mean, you as a bushcrafter wouldn't go for something like this. This is a nice knife, man. Can't deny that, man. You just can't deny that. That is still wicked sharp. Let's try tent stake. Okay, I got a nice thick piece of wood here. Just digging in real nice, man. Or maybe you need a makeshift spear or other type of improvised weapon. I mean, this is really good, you know? Give some stabbing to somebody or some animal. See if we can make a nice robust tip. Okay, that'll put a hurting on somebody, right? Now let's make a notch. And you could definitely use your thumb. It's so sharp, it's just digging in without a problem, you know? Look at the thin slices that I'm making. Okay, let me go a little bit deeper. What the hell? By the way, I did cut my finger over here, believe it or not, with the very tip of this thing. I had to put on a Band-Aid. Okay, that's a pretty decent notch right there. Let me just see if I'm still bleeding here, troops. Yeah, it's coming a little bit through the Band-Aid, but what are you gonna do? Thankfully, I have a first aid kit, so heads up on that, man. If you're an avid outdoorsman, make sure you take a first aid kit with you. Okay, look. right? And you could see how thin I'm making these shavings. You know, so my point being is if you need some very fine work done, this knife is sharp enough to do it. All right, some more thumb action over here. Can't go wrong with that, you know? You know, if you wanted to, you can make some grooves over here, some finger grooves, you know, so that maybe the makeshift spear or weapon won't slip out of your hands. All capable with this knife, for sure. Let's just do a little tip testing. Whoops. Okay, split the wood, that's nice. I got to tell you, I'm very appreciative about the guard over here. It does help when stabbing that the hand doesn't slip any further. I probably should put the lanyard on just for safety reasons. But this last little piece over here, what the hell? Let's finish it off. Done. Okay. We're looking good here. Now, real quick, I just want to show you still sharp. Where's that little piece? If you wanted to make some tinder out of rope or jute or whatever it's called, you got a nice sharp knife that will cut it all up. Make yourself a nice little pile right over here, right? Because face facts, you know, not everybody is going to be cutting rope until it goes dull. There's just, nobody's going to do that unless you're a content creator. So this is more than enough, you know, to prove that the knife is still sharp after all that abuse. And if you need to make a quick fire, you know, you got some extra material that you could throw on top, spark it up. Let's do another tip test over here on this block. So in my personal opinion, a divot is a fair test, okay? So let's see if we can make a divot with this knife without the tip bending or having any issues. It's a pretty decent piece of wood here. If you needed to make a divot for whatever reason, I'm going to use it to pivot, make the hole a little bit bigger. Hopefully I'm adding a little bit of stress on that point. All right, let's check it out together. Okay, straight. Look at how deep that is, look. Pretty good, right? All right, I'm satisfied with the point. So, well, actually, no, wait a minute. Hold on a second, troops. The point did break. The very tip did break. I'm sorry, it did break. Okay, well, that's one check mark off this knife. Now I'm curious to see, even with that small little bit of that tip broken, if it's still ineffective or not. So I'm going to try another divot. Whoops. All right, we have to admit, I have to admit to myself also that the tip broke, you know, and you're out in the field. Can it still do the things that you need to? You might be, I don't know, a few miles away from your vehicle, or, you know, a half a day trek or whatever. Can the knife still perform if you need, for some reason, to make the tip? I'm sorry, not make the tip, but use the tip. So here, that's a nice divot right there. So now I understand the limitation of this knife, and so do you, okay? I think it's important that you understand that, you know, this happened to this knife. Am I going to call it a failure? Well, I'm checking. That's why I'm doing this. I want to see, you know, if I could still do what I need to do. I mean, no more tip damage that I could see so far, and it did make another nice divot. Now, let's see if I needed to, for whatever reason, you know, use the tip for cordage. I've seen a content creator do this. You know, he would use the tip on a sapling, and as you can see, it's still cutting. So that worked out okay. I mean, you know, it's not perfect. I'm not an expert at it, but I did see a content creator, you know, use a sapling and just cut it all the way down, and he peeled it right off. You know, it was very green. So the tip is still working. Let me, you know what, just for the heck of it, let me just make something all the way down. And I'm still able to go underneath the wood and continue. So not a total loss, you know. I don't know if this is a failure or not. You let me know in the comments below. The tip is not bent. I'm still able to use it. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. So let's move on. All right, let's see how the spine works out. Now, as I mentioned, this area is very rounded off. Okay. Well, that's the jimping that's doing some of this work. But this other area in the middle, well, I guess it's working. It's not so bad. Now I'm using the rest of the blade, the spine by the swedge. Let's get rid of that. Now let's see. There we go. So definitely using the sharp area by the swedge over here. It's definitely, you know, making some scraping. Let's go by the jimping area again. Not as effective as this part right here by the swedge. As you can see, I'm making the fluff right there. All right. Broken tip, no effect on the spine. So that's looking good. Okay, I thought I was finished with this, but then I did something off camera and I wanted to show everybody. If you feel that the swedge is not that effective, the jimping, I even tried, you know, the choil over here. Choil is somewhat effective, right? Worst comes to worst, you know, you use the blade. Okay. You can see I'm scraping. If you want to make some fluff, It's actually very effective. There you go. Okay, so that worked. Is it still sharp after doing that? I say so. What do you think? All right, I'm done, man. I am pretty satisfied with this knife, even with that breakage of the tip. It is just so minor. Let's see if I could show you guys. It is really minor. And I guess it's just something to discuss with the Oerla reps and see if there's improvements that can be made. Why not? Huge results, man. Huge results. I got a brand new platform over here. I was able to spread everything out and put everything on up there. This is everything that knife was capable of doing. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I did have a small issue. All right. The very tip did break while doing what I thought, in my opinion, was a valid test, is to make a divot. Now, my concern is if you're a hunter and you're getting into the animal, maybe a little bit bigger animal, and you're hitting the bone or some tough cartilage and the tip breaks, that might be a concern. So, you know, I am going to go back to Oerla. I'm going to present the situation with Oerla and see how they handle it. I would like to get a replacement knife if possible. I am not an expert at reprofiling a knife. I would not know how to fix that properly. So let's see how Oerla, you know, works this out. And, you know, for the paying customers, you know, how their warranty works out. So I'll get back to you on it. But other than that, man, this knife was great. And even with that little broken tip, I was still capable of, you know, creating a secondary divot right over here, as you could see. All right. I did use another piece of wood. Here's the primary one that was over here on this board right there. Okay, that's where I broke the tip. Was able to make strips. Okay, so using the broken point, I was still able to make strips to make cordage. I have seen a content creator make strips out of a sapling using a tip and then peeling it off, and he made cordage out of it, which was pretty cool. The knife is still sharp after all this work over here. Whoops. Just want to show you once again that I am still making, look at those curls. Okay, I'm still making these really fine curls. I'm going through up the whole blade. I mean, looking good, man. All right. You know, you definitely got to take one of your favorite sharpening tools with you, because you just never know. Usually me, I do maintenance. I perform maintenance after I'm done using the knife. But other than that, man, I think this knife did well, other than that small little issue with the tip. And again, I'm going to bring it up to Oerla. And, you know, maybe it's something that they could remedy. You know, they could maybe make the tip just a little bit thicker. Maybe the point, instead of being, you know, at a certain angle, it's a little bit thicker angle. Who knows? But it's worth bringing it up to them. All right, troops, legionnaires, and new recruits, as always, thank you very much for checking out my channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your opinion is on that slight tip break. Me personally, I don't think it caused any problems for me. I could still keep on going. For some others, you know what I mean? It could be an issue. I want to know in the comments below. I want to bring awareness to everybody. Hashtag 22 a day. Hashtag 22 a day no more. There are veterans and active military that wants to get out of the service. They do face a lot of challenges. And unfortunately, one of these challenges is suicide. So at the end of this video, pause on the slides, check out the websites, make some phone calls. There's some phone numbers on there, and seek the help you all have earned and deserve. All right, troops, legionnaires, new recruits, at the ready. Hold the line. Take care. Legionnaires!